1 minute? 1 minute?
The countdown clock has finally reached the end.
Thank you for testing your unmuting, Danielle.
Yeah.
Everybody else is muted. And it's 7 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock. Yay! This is a symbol for being very excited. So for those who will join us, because there was lots and lots of people for tonight who registered, they'll just be coming in as they are, but the Toronto Community Advocacy Coalition always starts our meetings on time, so I will not waver from that course. So welcome to Bells on Zoom, where it's much safer than cycling on Jane Street. It's so weird, Danielle, I got you in the screen. My name is Janet Joy Wilson, and I'm a founding member of the Toronto Community Bikeways Coalition, and your MC for this very special evening, honoring a few of the numerous tireless volunteers in our city working towards safe streets. And you know what I need to do is to share my screen. There we are. So, can everybody see that? Albert, can you give me a thumbs up? That's good. Okay. Thank you. So, the land, okay. There we go. The land on which we ride our bicycles has been for thousands of years the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and most recently the Mississaugas of the Credit River. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful for the opportunity to live on this land. We are in the dish with one spoon territory, and we all eat out of the dish with one spoon, which means we have the shared responsibility of ensuring the dish is never empty, which includes taking care of the land, the creatures we share it with, and each other. So what's gonna happen tonight? This is being recorded because we want to know who you're wearing on the red carpet tonight. But due to the size of the audience, which is fabulous, you are all muted. But at the end, we will let you talk. I will let you talk because I'm the driver here. Or you can write in chat, whatever you feel comfortable with. We will have a short history of the Toronto Community Bikeways Coalition, of which in the future I'm going to start using TCBC. There will be a drum roll, and there's going to be amazing winners of the awards. And as I said, if you have questions or have words to share, the chat is open to do that. And by 8 o'clock, the red carpet will be rolled up. So Albert, please give us that short history. Oh, you're not unmuted. Why aren't you muted? Ask to unmute. Albert.
Thanks very much, Janet Joy, and welcome everyone to the Toronto Community Bikeways Coalition Awards event. I wanted to tell you just a bit of background about our group, but of course the focus is tonight on your group. In terms of our thinking and our approach as the Toronto Community Bikeways Coalition is that we want to listen, we want to amplify the voices of community groups, we want to help when we're asked, and of course, we want to contribute to a transportation system which values the bicycle, but a transportation system that is equitable, that is affordable, that is healthy, and that contributes to our goals of climate change, addressing climate change, and making our roads safe for all residents of Toronto. So our group got its start just about a year ago, and we were like many of you that are here tonight. We wanted to see how can we help during the pandemic, and our own backgrounds are from a variety of fields, whether healthcare, law, environment, social justice, etc. We wanted to see how we can help. So what we did, knowing that there is a huge amount of support in Toronto for cycling infrastructure, a huge amount of support that isn't always or even often reflected at City Hall. So what we did is organized a letter of 120 community groups calling for safe bikeways, especially that focused on the busiest transit routes, the busiest bus routes, and that served essential workers and transit-reliant residents of the city who are often ignored. So that's what we did. And of course, there are many of you that signed that letter, many of you that took up the fight. And as a result of the community stepping up and saying public roads are for all of us, the result of that was that City Hall did implement this past year 31 kilometers of a new bike lanes. We know that's not enough. That's a start. We need to replicate that year after year. We still have a long fight ahead of us. And with that bit of background, we want to turn the focus back on you and all the great work that the community is doing for safe streets and the other objectives that we fight for as a community, which are action on climate change, action on equity, action on health, action on fairness. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'd like to thank our Community Advocacy Award Committee. And Danielle and the team had quite a challenging time, of which this is a word cloud of some of the adjectives that were used to describe the nominations. So I'm going to give it over to you, Danielle, to share some of the process.
Thank you so much, Janet and Albert. And thank you so much for everyone who's here. I just scrolled through the attendees and I see so many familiar faces, which is why I was happy to jump onto this first edition of the Community Advocacy Awards. Hopefully this will be an initiative that continues on year after year. And it was a pleasure to be part of the committee to vote on who's getting an award tonight. So just to speak in a few minutes to the selection committee's process, I want to again acknowledge all of their hard work. We had representatives from within the Toronto Community Bikeways Coalition, as well as some external groups, representatives from Bike Sauce, from the International Federation of Bicycle Messengers also took part in the selection committee. So we received we got 40 responses. And this word cloud is a good representation of some of the things that were said about some of you in those responses. The nominators were very descriptive and they showed a lot of appreciation for everyone. And we voted together on the 5 categories of awards, which Janet will speak to in turn tonight. Again, if anyone has questions about the selection process, we're happy to share a little bit more later on. Janet is also publishing a newsletter with a summary of some of the details of the awards. So thanks again so much for everyone who's here. You really have provided inspiration. I know personally, because we've worked together face to face with a lot of you, you really bring that passion and that just personal touch to everything that you do. And it's very clear that this is something that you live in your day-to-day lives. And we're so happy to show you some appreciation in this small way, at least, through the awards tonight. So Janet, I will turn it back over to you. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. And in terms of amplifying the community voices, I couldn't think of a better instrument to use than this. Because I told you there'd be a drum roll. And how often can you get to use one? So this was perfect. So moving on to, there we go. All right, our first award. One of his nominators said he is always super positive and willing to learn and help in any way. He has also helped us become more approachable with the tenants of the building by reaching out to them and letting them know of our existence and role in the building. Due in part to his efforts, we have been approached by many tenants in the building who would like to get their bikes repaired. Here too, he shines as a quick learner and a great mechanic. He is always willing to take on hard projects and repair jobs and learns from them quickly. He does all of this with an amazingly positive attitude. He has also been described as a gem. So without further ado, the winner of the first award of the Emerging Road Safety Leader, yay, is ELIJAH NANGWALE. The Bike Hub says their work would be impossible without the efforts of someone like ELIJAH. So thank you for all your passion as a builder, not just of bikes, but of community. Our second Emerging Road Safety Leader is for a group. The Overley Bridge. Did anyone in Toronto know about the safety issues of this bridge before a Quadmester 2 technological design class with a group of 10 students guided by their teacher raised their hand? This student team provided engineering solutions and used their collective creative juices to design a safe and welcoming space on the street. Additionally, they learned how to engage with all 3 levels of government and secured meetings with city staff while generating a massive amount of media during a pandemic. Can you all guess who this is? The Mark Garneau Collegiate Institute Overley Bridge Student Group with Hafez Alavi. These people, these students are truly winners as we are inspired by you. Tim Langford of the MGCI Science and Technology Department said there are 3 students who are continuing the work of this class. And I hope Mr. Langford gives all of you an A+++. If he doesn't, I'll talk to him. Where is this? Hello. There we go. So, Suburban Champion of the Year. A nominator said she created a Build a Bike program, conducted bike clinics in the community, and led community group rides. She is loved by all who know her and have met her. Her friendly, welcoming, and helpful attitude makes everyone from bike center users, volunteers, and co-workers all feel appreciated and valued. She is a real organizer and community developer at the grassroots level. She is known as the boss. And the winner of the Suburban Champion of the Year is Daniela Hernandez Cuadra. Danny is the manager of the Cycle York Community Bike Center in the Black Creek community. An immigrant from Chile and a full-time student, she has taken the lead on several initiatives to expand the cycling offerings in her community. Thank you for all your grassroots effort, which will result in a solid foundation. Business Road Safety Champion. During the successful campaign to extend the Bloor bike lanes west from Shaw to Runnymede, this BIA was the undisputed business champion for this project, having deputed at Toronto's Infrastructure and Environment Committee in 2019, submitted op-eds to publications such as Now Toronto and featured in other media interviews, and expressed support for the extension since the bike lanes were first installed from Shaw to Avenue in 2016, or perhaps even before that. So without further ado, because I know you all want to know which BIA, it is Bloordale BIA. You know, I have always said that bikes mean business, and there's data to prove it. But without support from local BIAs, we wouldn't get the votes for active transportation infrastructure. So thank you, LIZA, for your support of safe streets throughout Toronto. Advocate of the Year. Nominators, of which there were so many, said he finds the time to help the cause of cycling in Toronto, despite his duties as a professor at the University of Toronto. He is a credit to the movement and gives cyclists greater credibility with his intelligent, meticulous, and thoughtful approach. He has been a dedicated leader in promoting safe streets forever, and it's an honor to announce the winner of Advocate of the Year. Yes, you, Shandagami. You are one of our great unsung heroes. You are Advocate of the Year every day in my books. If you, dear audience, are unaware of Jun's blog, Biking in a Big City, please spend time with his account of the cycling history in the city through photographs and documenting events of every kind of group ride, to the reviews of new equipment, much of it from Kickstarter campaigns. He is unflappable, tireless, committed, and the nicest person. And now, Albert, I invite you to speak about your friend, Alan Wayne Scott.
Yeah, thanks very much, Janet Joy, and congratulations to all the winners. First, I wanted to acknowledge Catherine Foxton, who's Wayne's wife and longtime partner. She's here tonight, and we appreciate her presence. Also wanted to acknowledge Joe Hendry and Leah Hollinsworth, who were colleagues of Wayne's as bike couriers. Wayne, of course, was also a foot courier. And also wanted to acknowledge Alan Shepard, who's here tonight as well. And I think he's listening in from Alberta. So Wayne exemplified all of the characteristics that we think of as an effective advocate. And first, I should say, one of those characteristics is often forgotten, and that's, even though he looks very serious in this one picture, it's a sense of humor. The second is strategic thinking. The third is a willingness to build alliances. And another one is persistence or perseverance. Now, in one of the last communications I had with Wayne, I asked him if his fight with Revenue Canada really took 16 years. And of course, it did. And that's how long it took to convince Revenue Canada. And when Wayne won that battle, it was, at the Federal Court of Canada, one of the highest courts in the land. So Wayne simply considered it unfair that on the one hand, business executives could sit at lunches in swanky restaurants and deduct the cost of their food. And yet bike and foot couriers who were working in difficult conditions, often delivering packages to those very same business executives, but working in very difficult conditions on roads with lots of cars and lots of exhaust, they weren't able to deduct the simple cost of their food that fueled their bodies. So Wayne thought that was wrong. He undertook a long battle against Revenue Canada, which he eventually won. And that legitimized the work, I believe, of couriers, both bicycle and foot. And one of the interviews that I saw that appeared on ABC in the US, I loved the a comment by one of the couriers that was interviewed, and he said, "The little guy finally won one." And that was, classic Wayne, that he fought for the little guy, and for that we need to he'll be remembered for that, and of course for his many other fights, including fights against City Hall to get safer roads for cyclists that worked for the city, in his fight as well for couriers to get to better working conditions and better, for example, at Metro Hall was a long fight that Wayne had, and of course his long fight for fellow courier Darcy Allen Shepherd, whose father is joining us here tonight. Wayne believed and fought for a long time for justice for Darcy Allen Shepherd, who was killed on Bloor Street in 2010. And it's to Wayne's credit that a ghost bike still sits proudly on Bloor Street in swanky Mink Mile, and that's a bike for Darcy Allen Shepherd. So the what we want to remember Wayne for, of course, is the great work that he did for the community over a period of 30 years. Now, originally we planned, and I should say that we raised $5,000 in the period of 10 days for the Wayne Scott Community Service Award. And we thought, well, we were going to give that out over 5 years, but then we thought, well, what would Wayne do with that $5,000? And we thought he certainly wouldn't want it sitting in a bank account. So we decided, given all the great nominations we have and that we got, that we would distribute two $1,000 awards to two groups. And those are the groups you're going to hear about now. Thank you.
Thank you. The first $1,000 is going to be awarded to hijabs and helmets. They are an anti-racism and proactive lifestyle initiative of Access Alliance, MHCS. The group empowers Muslim women and brings people together for a safer and healthier community. They said that this award equals 5 bicycles for them this summer. One of the many nominators said, Hijabs and Helmets is a truly unique biking group, which was founded by a Syrian newcomer. The point of the group is to learn how to ride a bike safely. In Syria, women generally were not encouraged to ride bikes, so when they emigrated here, they saw other Canadian women cycling and wanted to have that freedom too. Another issue was discriminatory remarks made by a few locals disparaging the women's head covers or hijabs. Cycling in a group would protect them from these remarks. Najjar teamed up with Access Alliance, who provided them with bikes and safety classes and ongoing support. Through this group, the ladies have not only become fit, but have also made friends and tasted freedom. I've been asked to shout out about 2 individuals. Hazar Najjar, who is the founder and volunteer leader of the Hijabs and Helmets group. A nominator said, Hazar is a very responsible person who cares about her community and the people around her. And whoever needs help, she will help without thinking. And the second person is Axel Janksa, Executive Director of Access Alliance, who is a staunch supporter and ultimate sponsor of the Access Alliance Multicultural Health and Community Services cycling programs. A truly inspiring initiative that we are so pleased to amplify. The second award for $1,000 is the Women's Cycling Network. They are going to take home this money for their work promoting cycling as wheels of empowerment for women of all backgrounds, and especially for those whose culture prohibited them from learning to ride a bike. They do this by educating through Learn to Ride and bike repair basics for sustainable transportation and recreation, encouraging mentorships by pairing experienced cyclists with newcomers, advocating for infrastructure improvements to make cycling safer in their communities, hosting group rides and excursions to enjoy nature and healthy exercise, partnering with other cycling organizations to raise awareness of the needs of women cyclists, and sharing stories and experiences that celebrate the freedom and empowerment found by riding a bike. Najah Zawari is an Afghan Canadian women's rights activist, founder of the Global Women's Network, leads the Women's Wellness Cafe and the Women's Cycling Network. I was fortunate to meet her as I delivered a bicycle almost exactly a year ago for Shella. And I hope she is still riding that bike and having a wonderful time. So congratulations. So reflecting on the winners that were nominated by people in our communities. We are so fortunate to live in the same city with all of you. They see the barriers, but through willpower and community building, they are breaking down the walls to change the status quo. Thank you are two words that are not enough when any of us who volunteer know the countless hours that it takes for change making. We hope the Community Advocacy Award to you, whether it's recognition or a bag of cash, will help you in the days ahead. So what's next? Toronto Community Bikeways Coalition will be celebrating 1 year in May. We're going to have an even bigger party, but maybe we won't broadcast it. And I wanted to share with you a few, and I'm not going to go into depth in any of this, but just we have so many working groups, like true working groups within our coalition who are amplifying the needs from the community and creating process to help them. So from You Belong on Bloor, which is about extending, because it's about time, all the way out to 6 points, to having a meeting with parking enforcement officers to finally get a level of commitment to not allowing the long time dangerous habit of cars parking in bike lanes. So, and then the tireless investigation into the bike account and the budget, and demanding accountability from our elected officials. So working with community advocates in community-led initiatives, we collectively, with all of our years of advocacy and passion and determinedness, we want to see things change. As Albert said at the beginning, 31 kilometers in a city with 5,600 kilometers of road space. So, but we also want to have some fun. So we've done a few things to, I call it edutainment. So there's education and entertainment. I create a word and I can't even say it. But things like cycling good cheer in December along Yonge Street, to having Donna dress up as a turtle in Weston, the home of the bicycle, where there isn't a bicycle lane. So we want to raise issues in a way that is digestible. Additionally, we've just sent a letter to the parliamentary secretary regarding the investment of $400 million into Canada's active transportation. And part of that is what we began with a year ago with our list of bikeways that need to provide a spine within this city to provide safe, protected, connected bikeways for people who, whether they are doing essential work and don't want to get on a subway, and or that's their only means of transportation, and perhaps they're making less money, so to not have to pay out for other means of transportation to use a bicycle. So this is the list, and I encourage you to sign up for our newsletter, because these initiatives, the actions we've already taken, the actions that we will continue to take, will be updated there. And so I am going to, I have one final screen, so I'll go back to that, but it's easier if I stop sharing screen to be able to see the chat room, because what I don't have for this event is a co-pilot running that. So here we are, I can see the chats, and if there's, and I'm going to do a scroll up, I'm seeing lots of people saying wonderful choices and congratulations, and thank you for honoring Wayne, and congratulations to the winners. A call out for Marvin, who's a cycling champion at Access Alliance. What else is here? It's also positive. It's so nice to see the positive, and we do need to support each other, because it is, I'm not sure if you really looked at the photograph, the vintage photograph I chose for the Eventbrite invitation, but it feels like that woman pushing her bike up Bathurst Street in 1904 through the mud. That's what advocating for safe streets feels like sometimes. And so to say thank you to everybody and to celebrate all your hard work. And it's just, oh, that's really lovely. Jun says, I can think of many people in this room, or maybe I can't think of many people in this room that have done more from cycling than I, but thanks for the honor. You know, the unsung hero who this is why we have to award people, because, you know, we just keep doing the work, you know, you do. And we want to say thank you because we understand and we want you to continue. Oh, the Nuthouse. Liza, I love, Danielle says, I love riding over and carrying home chocolate and goodies. Yes, please support our local businesses now more than ever. There's some wonderful messages. I'm scrolling up. I know there's new ones that have come in. I just wanted to make sure that if there was anything specific in here besides over and over congratulations, which I don't think, is that about punning? I can pun all I like. Yes, so I'm going to go down to the bottom. Thank you as bearing with me as I work through this. And if you have any questions, or if somebody wants to say something, I think probably the chat is the best way to say, you know what, I want to shout out because I did not say something that you would like others to know. We have, Arthur, I have a safe parking ticket if you want to see it. Yes, we're going to be distributing some notes to encourage safe parking in a nice way.
Janet Joy, if I can just add, what's been really heartening for us over the last year is to work with so many different community groups. And that's part of our thinking, that we don't see the bicycle first as sort of, we don't see ourselves as cycling enthusiasts, we see ourselves as community groups. And that's been the real dramatic change, I think, over the past year, that people see that their transportation system is a community issue, it's a climate issue, it's an equity issue, it's a health issue. It's not firstly a cycling issue. We don't cycle just because it's fun, although it is fun. We cycle because it just makes a lot of sense. And a lot of the people who have come out this year in the community supporting cycling aren't necessarily cycling. They might simply know, have a loved one in the family that they want to be safe, or they simply see the value of it in the various struggles that we have, as I mentioned, whether for health or for climate or for equity, all of these things, or for road safety, all of these things that we fight for are firstly fights for our community.
I know people can read in the chat, but I would like to read out Axel's. And I apologize for any mispronunciations of names. I looked stuff up. I did that, you know, the little sound to hear it, but it would have been easier to have heard direct from you. So please accept my apologies. But she says, I think all the award winners are amazing and certainly reflect the spirit of Wayne Scott. He was about systems change, and all the award winners are change makers. That is what is important. We all have the ability to make change. Small steps will result in big changes. Absolutely. If there's anybody else want to say anything or add anything, because, you know, we didn't know how long this would take, especially since we really didn't have a red carpet. And because of the audience numbers, we weren't, you know, allowing acceptance speeches, because that's always awful because you got to play music and get people off anyway. So we wanted to speed through this, but I hope it wasn't speeding, because it is heartfelt, our gratitude to all the work of the individuals and the groups. And it is just so impressive. So thank you. I have one final slide to share, and then we'll call this meeting to an end.
As Janet's doing that, because she's the type to not pat herself on the back, I am going to shout out the remarkable, the amazing, the dazzling Janet Joy. Thank you so much for your gift of bringing people together, recognizing them, and making them feel appreciated and part of a community. That's part of what I enjoy so much about working with you, with Albert, with everyone at Toronto Community Bikeways Coalition. You all are so dedicated, and it's a pleasure to be able to collaborate with you and with all of you. To those of you that I haven't met, I am so glad that this brought us together. And thank you so much. Enjoy your Friday.
Thank you, Danielle. And this photograph was from last December. This is how dedicated not only we are, but also others who are advocating. You know, we put on antlers, and we rode on Yonge Street from Finch all the way down to the waterfront. And I think all of us agree that it was the first time on any critical mass ride that people were waving and cheering, and the horns that were being blown by drivers was in support of Santa, aka Albert, pedaling using his own power up and down those hills on Yonge Street. And so I so hope this photograph has all of you and more this December when we can come together. Oh, please let us all be able to come together, and hopefully on Yonge Street on some protected, connected bikeways as well. At the bottom there is our website, our Twitter account, and the Instagram handle. We are on Facebook as well. And I want to say, I wish you all Merry Christmas or something. No, but I do want to say, like all good things, this too must come to an end. And peace be with you. And I will now close off Bells on Zoom and stop the ringing. Thank you and good night.
Good night.
And